Coming Home by Owen is a poem about the importance of family and about the process of aging. Some of the themes include the separation between parents and children, and about children and adulthood. It's also about the passage of time, aging, and ultimately, mortality. It's a rather deceptively simple poem about an adult son that returns home and makes observations of his mother, his father, and grandfather that are tinged with reflective sadness. In terms of its structure, it's written in free verse, it is unrhymed and has an irregular meter. It has 3 stanzas, the first 2 of 7 lines, the last of 4. Finally, each stanza concerns a different family member: the mother, the father, and the grandfather. In the first 3 lines, we read how my mother's hug is awkward, as if the space between her open arms is reserved for a child, not this body of a man. Now, interestingly, this word hug appears beside this word awkward. Now, the emotional warmth and familiarity of the noun hug, you know, the word hug is a noun, appears uneasily with the adjective awkward. So we don't really know why this hug is awkward, because there's almost something that seems to be discomforting about the mother's hug, and we wonder what this could be. What is it about the mother's hug that makes it awkward? We read how the space between her open arms is reserved for a child, not this body of a man. And again, we have conflicting impressions in this imagery. The mother's arms are open and they're accepting, but the space between them is reserved for a child, not her adult son. So we get an impression that a lot of time has passed, and he's no longer comfortable. In the lines that follow, we read how in the kitchen she kneads the dough, flipping it and patting before laying in again. The flour makes her over, dusting the hair on her cheeks, smoothing out wrinkles. Now, the speaker's mother is comfortably placed in the domestic sphere. This is important. This is where the speaker seems to be used to seeing her. Now, when you're a child, you're used to seeing your mother in the kitchen. That's her domain almost when you're a child. And it seems as if the speaker, seeing his mother in the kitchen again, feels a little bit more at ease. A lot more than he was when the situation was that he had to hug his mother. Here, seeing her in the kitchen, once again, there is a sense of comfort. He seems a little bit more at ease. Now, when she's kneading the dough, again, this is a familiar act. Now, the effect of the familiar act of making bread, emphasized by the repetitive cyclical action of these verbs, is both literal and metaphorical as well. The speaker is used to seeing her doing this, and again, there is a sense of the process of kneading itself is repetitive, and seeing her do this again and again, perhaps every year as he comes back home, creates a sense of ease for the speaker. This is what he's used to. Again, we have flipping and patting before laying in again. The flour makes her over, dusting the hair on her cheeks, smoothing out her wrinkles. Now, this is interesting. This phrase, smoothing out her wrinkles, we get this idea that the mother's countenance, her face, is cosmetically improved by the flour that covers her skin, and this allows the speaker to imagine that the passage of time is reversed, and he visualizes his mother as the younger woman she was when he was a child. So, this helps. remind the speaker of his mother during her younger years. It's almost, one could say, wishful thinking. When you're a child and you remember your mother when you're a child, they're a lot younger, and we almost want our parents to stay the age that they were when we were younger. We don't actually want our parents to age, we just want to grow up ourselves. And seeing our parents age is quite frightening and very discomforting. So in this situation where the speaker sees his mother almost look, in some half light, younger again, is very comforting. Because, as I mentioned, we all want our parents to stay young. When we say we want to grow up, as children, we want to grow up ourselves, but we don't want our parents necessarily to get any older than they are when we're children. It's somewhat paradoxical, you could say. Now, the lines that follow start with the word dad, which is an interesting word to start with. It indicates a sense of closeness between the father and the speaker. If you recall previously, we had the word mother, which was a little bit more formal. The word dad is a bit more intimate and it indicates a sense of closeness. It's a bit more affectionate as well. The word still that follows the word dad is interesting because it indicates that this activity is repeated over a long period of time and is almost perhaps unnecessary. It indicates that perhaps the father's been doing this for a very long time, been going out and soaking himself in the rain. So it's perhaps unnecessary. And it indicates that it has been repeated. This is perhaps something he's seen his father do for a very long time, over and over again, soaking himself in the rain. Up to his elbows in hedge, he works on a hole that reappears every winter. Its edge is laced with wet wool. Now, this phrase, up to his elbows, indicates that his father works very, very hard. If you're up to your elbows in something, it indicates that you're working very hard at something. No matter how hard he works though, there isn't much that he receives back. He works on a hole that reappears every winter. The fact that it reappears every winter indicates that his hard work is almost futile. Because whatever he works hard at just appears again every winter. Which means that he will have to do this again and again the following year. Frozen breaths snagged on the blackthorn, when he comes in again and his hair is wild and his pockets are filled with filings of hay. Now, frozen breaths snagged on the blackthorn is, of course, a metaphor, which is referring to the sheep's wool caught in the hedge, representing the snatched breaths of the father due to his physical exertions. Blackthorn has connotations of darkness and discomfort as well. We read how when he comes in again his hair is wild and his pockets are filled with filings of hay. The father seems rooted in his rural surroundings, his wild appearance emphasized as well. His hair is wild. And this line here, these words here, his pockets are filled with filings of hay. There seems to be little gained from all of his efforts. no matter how hard he's been working, he hasn't really achieved much. The use of alliteration here brings our attention to the fact that worthless bits of hay, rather than money, fill the father's pockets. So these words here, filled with filings, is of course an example of alliteration, and they remind us that his pockets are filled with hay, not any money of any kind. Finally, we read, "All seated, my grandfather pours the wine. His unsteady hand makes the neck of the bottle shiver on the lip of each glass. It is a tune he plays faster each year." Now the word all is of course a pronoun, and it suggests a sense of family unity. This is important. They all sit down together, so it does indicate a sense of family unity. But there is also the hint that everyone is equally susceptible to the passage of time. We finally have all three members together, and everyone is susceptible to the passage of time. This is juxtaposed with the celebratory act of sharing a bottle of wine. This word here, unsteady, is important because it's an adjective that conveys a sense of infirmity. He is weak. And that's why his hand is unsteady. So again, this is about the theme of aging and getting older. And obviously, as one gets older, one becomes weaker. So when he tries to pour the wine, his hand is unsteady. The word shiver is of course a verb, and it seems almost onomatopoeic for the sound of the glass on glass. Finally, this last phrase, "it is a tune he plays faster each year," is a metaphor which sardonically suggests that it's unavoidable that the grandfather's condition should continue to deteriorate as he becomes older. Every year this will continue to happen until he dies. This reminds us as readers of our own mortality. And this is how the poem ends.